cognitive domain of second language learning. The core domain of second language learning, as you would agree with me, is the cognitive domain. This is the domain where learners actually process information, interpret information of a second language. They try to use second language, try to match the structures, make sense, develop hypotheses. So the cognitive domain is the main domain in the second language learning, and within it, the role of the first language stands out very clearly. This is the role that allows them to make sense of the second language that they are learning by analyzing the structures of both the first language and the second language and trying to compare how different or similar are both languages and draw inferences, think about what to expect in the structure of the second language. So it is the first language that is the point of departure for such discussions. For instance, if we draw attention to the child when we are introducing nouns and verbs and adjectives, and we talk about ism and fail and maf'ul and fa'il and all those things, then we can sort of clearly in like one class before we move on to communicative language teaching, or after we have done communicative language teaching, actually allow the learners to see how are these two languages similar or different. They are definitely connected because both of them are the mediating tools that one has to use to participate in a given culture. So this is what this cognition is supported by the use or the reference to the first language, because this is what allows the learner to categorize new knowledge. It also allows mediating what we call meta-linguistic talk or metacognitive talk. Since we are talking about second language learning, we are talking about meta-linguistic talk over here. So we have already discussed that under the socio-cultural theoretical framework, how important is the inner speech, that is the private talk of children, the private talk of the adults, and the language that they use in that private talk is most of the times is the first language, especially when the learners are at the first stages of learning the second language. So we are not saying that the learners never use second language as inner speech. We are also not saying that they will never ever do so, but we are saying that while the learners are trying to learn the second language, they need to be allowed to use the first language in their inner speech, because what they are using it for is meta-linguistic talk, and this meta-linguistic talk actually is helping them to move from the stage of being guided by others to the stage of autonomous learning where they guide their own behavior. The use of the first language also in the cognitive domain leads to developing cross-cultural and cross-linguistic links. It allows them to see those links. It allows the learner to activate what they already know about their first language, but they have not actually paid attention to those features. They have used the first language without actually thinking the implications or the complexities of their first language. So what this language awareness is doing, how the first language is helping in the cognitive domain, is making them aware of these complexities. So we said that it leads to effective use of inner speech, and we have also said that this allows them to develop analytical skills to see how language is actually, the language is actually used in society. So the use of the first language in the cognitive domain encourages reflection, thinking about language, what they are doing, the choice of words they are using, facilitates noticing, taking account of what is different, what is similar, how are the words working over there, how are the words are working in this context, and it leads to inner subjectivity. It leads to connecting, making meaning, and using their agency to get involved in knowledge building structures.